So some of the numbers you brought up this morning, as you said, keep you up at night, with the way government continues to grow and grow and grow.
And most of it on autopilot, by the way. I mean,
And how can we affect a culture change to stop that, to turn that around?
well, I think you're seeing the beginnings of the political culture changing, where even in my lifetime, people didn't care about federal government deficit spending. Now they seem to care. For the first time in a long time, you see people outside of the political system saying, enough. I mean, enough, stop this.
You had some very pointed words this morning about the bonding bill as a solution for creating jobs. I wonder if you can recap that a little
I
bit.
mean, bottom line is it's a helpful piece, and it has good things in it as long as you do it in an affordable, prioritized, targeted manner. So nobody's going to dispute that. The parking lot's got to get repaved, the roofs have to get fixed, old airports have to get modernized. It's just a matter of what can you afford in this year versus next year, the year after that. But I want to just highlight what I said this morning, which is if you look at the bonding bill as the main or only jobs creator for the state of Minnesota, it's really incomplete thinking. And the idea, by the way, that you passed the bill last week and you'll have jobs next week is also not accurate until the bonding process runs its legal and necessary course. That is, we won't sell the bonds until we have some clarity around whether or if the legislature is going to address the budget gap. So again, they sell it as they need to pass it last week because it's going to have an impact next week. No, it's not. The storyline doesn't quite hold up for Duluth. And you got the state paying a really large portion of Duluth's budget.
Right.
So the one question might be, now why is that? Why would that be? Is it the city's too small? No, probably not too small. Is the city so poor and overburdened it can't reasonably pay for even half of its budget by itself? Well, it's got some overburden and some economic challenges, but it's probably not that poor compared to, say, Ivanhoe or Red Lake or someplace like that. So, what is it about Duluth that brings you to the conclusion that the state should pay for half or more of the city's budget? It's an open question. And in a world where finances are extraordinarily constricted, is that the future? The idea of the program was to try to get some assistance to cities that were too small or too poor to reasonably pay for local services themselves because they either lacked property tax base, right, or they lacked, or they had overburden in some fashion, and we would send them some aid to level the playing field. Now you have St. Paul, Minneapolis, Duluth, some other larger cities, some of which are quite prosperous, by the way, getting over half of their entire city budget paid for by somebody else.
Would you be so bold as to say cities like Duluth have simply grown accustomed to that state money and are relying too much on it?
Well, what would the city of Duluth do if it didn't have LGA with respect to post-retiree health benefits? What would they do with respect to pension systems and public employee compensation systems that are out of line with the private sector? At some point, would they be encouraged or forced to reform them? I would hope so. I think it'd be very difficult to do in Duluth given the politics of it. I mean, you got a city there where the mayor's a Democrat, city council's almost all Democrats, the entire legislative delegation is Democratic, the entire congressional delegation is Democratic, and has been for decades. And so the question arises, how's that working for you? Yeah. And is it working out good for you? If it is, great, but it seems to me there's some challenges there.
To view other videos from Duluth Days, go to duluthnewstribune.com/event/videos or go to the video player at the bottom of the homepage anytime, any day.